like to do like a sort of recap, like towards the last few minutes of the
match. Yeah, usually we do that too. So anyway, good to see you again.
Nice to see you again. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I guess to kind of analyze, I enjoy playing. I play, mostly I play up at the Upland Sofa where I've seen you a couple times.
Yes.
There's, I watch a lot of videos for better or for worse. I mean, from the pros, the PPA to, the 5 mistakes there, but, I think some of that's good, some of that's not good, or, you can get kind of unfocused. But what I guess one thing I have done is I really try to drill almost more than I play, right?
That's perfect.
Right,
yes.
So I actually bought a ball machine about a year ago, and I've got kind of a 3/4 of a skinny single patio.
Okay.
So it's not as nice as, having a full court, but, it works. I mean, for, serve, you can do a fair amount. Bought a little skinny net and whatever.
Yes.
So I would say it's not as good as, again, all this. It's not as good as really drilling with a partner, I would say. But it's, you have one, and right,
yes.
if you're you can step out in your backyard in 5 minutes, you can start hitting balls for a half hour, an hour, whatever, right?
Exactly, yes.
So I play, I was in a league for maybe 6 months there, and it was fine. It's just, I'm retired, I'm a morning person. The leagues are 4:30, 6:30 there. I mean,
yes.
Again, you've done them. It just, wasn't quite fitting the lifestyle thing. So Tuesday and Thursday mornings are kind of seniors. So 9 to noon, basically. I wouldn't say just seniors, but a lot of the retired guys and gals can do it. So I'd call it, it's rec play, right? So we just mix it up and whatever. So I do that. Maybe there's a Tuesday or a Saturday at 1's kind of a upper intermediate open play. I can kind of hold my own there, I would say. So I do that sometimes. That's at 1. The rest of the time I'm either in the backyard, or sometimes I can get somebody to drill with me. Vicky's she's not much of a driller. She's very social, right? She enjoys the game, the people. I wish I did as much. I'm more focused on, man, I want to be getting better or whatever. So I guess that all leads up to, again, I think being analytical, I think I understand the game pretty well after a year and a half. And like I said, I mean, I didn't play tennis. I don't think I'm fairly athletic, I'd say, but I don't, it's not coming to me like, oh my God, I got out there and man, I just could play really well.
Yes.
So, so I've got to work at it, I guess I'm saying. So, again, I'd say the techniques, I'm sure that may be part of it. Brett, I saw this, or I see you doing this or that. I know I can improve. What's kind of frustrating to me is, like I said, I'd say positioning and placement, although I really, again, outside of drilling, I'm really trying to get, I'm fairly thin, I'm 66, but I'm over most of my competition. It's one advantage I have, right? I'm thinner, I don't have any knee I'm pretty healthy, I guess I'm saying. So I'm trying to use that to my advantage, right? So I'm really working on footwork. I mean, even in the garage, I'm, doing my doing my split steps,
I saw you warming up there before you stepped out on court, so that's good.
Yeah. So, I can do more and more of that. So I guess I'd say that, in bottom line, I guess I'm trying to sort of go back to the fundamentals. I mean, you was the first lesson I took notes there: consistency, placement, power, right?
Absolutely, that's
footwork. So, I mean, I had like 10 or 12 items, and they, they're right on. I mean, you kind of get lost in, again, geez, I got to work on my this and my back, and whatever. So I guess initially my thought was, maybe just prioritize. Where do I think I'm at? Again, I think I understand the game. I'm just not always able to do, what I think I ought to be doing, right?
Yes.
Serve, I think, is pretty good, for my level. I think, the return of serve, I know to get it deep, right? It doesn't always happen. And actually, I think maybe you notice, so I'm probably the only guy that tries to do a short game, right? I try to drop. Most people, right, they're still, I don't call them bangers, but they just hit it, right? They're not trying to drop it. So, I guess I'd look at one guy says, well, I wouldn't drop it. Nobody does the dink game. I'm like, I don't care. I'm just trying to do an unattackable ball, right?
Yes.
I don't have to dink. Oh, nobody dinks. I mean, you dink because you have to, right? Because the ball's down here and you can't, right? So I guess I'm trying that. Again, in the backyard, I do a lot of trying the drop because it takes some work, right?
Yes.
But again, you probably see the video. I tend to get surprised, I think, by, I'll drop and they can still, attack it and I'm not really ready and things like that. So anyway, that's, again, I guess what I'd come out with, right, with you is, I see you could be doing this or that. Here's maybe one or two things on your technique or whatever. And I guess, I just know I'm not going to be I'm not trying to be the hardest hitter, the fastest hitter. Again, I guess I'm kind of trying, with my crowd, trying to be a little different, right? Man, that guy, hey, that drop's starting to work, right? At first I could get it, but now, I'm having to, dink it back because I don't, that kind of thing. So I sort of, I guess, enjoy changing it a little bit with the, there's 6-8 guys, we all kind of play it.
Okay.
I'd say we're all comparable. I mean, they're probably a little better than me, 1 or 2 a little worse or whatever. So anyway, but I guess in the end, I feel a little, I feel like I'm stuck a little bit. I've been this way a little bit. So that's, hey, and again, I'll go back to you the first time or two. You said, hey, when when my golf swing isn't good, I get a lesson and get improved, right? Where, I don't know if you remember when Vicky and I first, Vicky's like, what do you want to work on? Everything. That's kind of hard for you to,
It is.
Right? That's so I'm hoping you and I, to summarize, kind of pick a couple things and let's, I can work on those, and every week or 2 or month, whatever makes sense, we'll get back together and
no, absolutely.
See, does that kind of make sense?
I like that. I like that, and I'll see a swing coach from time to time if I feel my swing is getting away from me for golf.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But I do a lot of private lessons where they'll say, Neil, I want to work for 90 minutes on my backhand. We'll just work on. So yes, when somebody comes to me and says, Neil, I need an overhaul. We need to work on every single part of the game. I will always say, let's start with the fundamentals of basics. Let's look at your footwork. Let's see what's happening there. Then we'll address everything else. Because like, for example, the backhand stroke itself, it's not like a fluid sort of you need to work on it. You need to break it down and see where is it getting away from us, right? So I like that. I like how we're gonna just pinpoint certain parts, and see how we can improve on that. So that's really good. Yes, and that's what we'll do.
Okay.
So with the 8 guys that you're playing with, the 6 to 8 guys, is that a regular thing?
Pretty much. Again, not a league, but you show up and might be a guy on vacation or whatever. But pretty steady. Now these open play. I mean, you know how it is. Hey, Susie's here, and we got 3, and so Susie plays, and we all need to do it. But it's. You try to, hey, let me work on something because I probably, I can't do my serve or whatever.
Exactly.
But I would say in general, there's, like the group, I think there were probably, at least 4 to 6 of us. I think I showed you 2 videos. So that's kind of the usual. That was actually on Monday. Monday's a very light day. We're lucky to get 4 to 6. The other days are busier. You're more, you got to put your name on the board, like the paddle thing and whoever shows up. So.
Okay. One thing I would suggest, though, for sure is if you can try to find other like sort of players and individuals to mix it up with.
I hear you.
So good for your game, because as we play with our regular friends, we know their tendencies, we know their strengths or weaknesses.
I'm with you.
Just go to another. Like I will drive to Laverne, I will drive to West Covina.
Really?
Just paddle up and just to get different looks with different players. As a tournament player, I need that. I need that exposure to like the unknown.
I hear you. So the Saturday's a little bit more like that. So they're in general better. Some are younger, whatever. That's like from 1 to 3 on Saturday.
Okay.
But I hear you. I mean, but even then, I'm not like kicking these guys' ass. I mean, I get it. Right, this guy can't move very well, or he's got a slice or whatever. So I'm with you. It's something I should do more of. I don't know if I'm antisocial, but I'm not, like tournaments. I did one tournament up at Upland, and me and a guy, I really didn't know, it wasn't much of a partnership, nice guy, but we had never played. We got our butts kicked, and I don't know that I was so worried about it, but it's like, I don't know that I really enjoyed it that much to spend $50 and whatever. Although I'm sure tournaments will force you to get better to some extent. It's probably, my goal this year is maybe do like 4. I did that one
I like
last
that.
year.
I like that goal. 4 tournaments. I would suggest that perhaps we try to find a player that you gel or you mesh with. And because finding a regular hitting partner or a partner for that'll help you grow as a player. So you understand where your strengths are. Like for me, I'm a complete left side player. Preparing for a tournament, I practice all left side.
Right.
And so when I play in rec play, open play, and we're doing straight up and I'm on the right side, it's just an awkward feeling.
Yeah, right.
So, but because it's an awkward feeling doesn't mean you can't get anything out of it. I look at open play as an opportunity to drill, to work on things that I'm trying to work on. So here's a little tip about me. Like when I go play at, say, Wheeler Park or something, I will put myself in really difficult or like difficult positions and try to work my way out of. So, for example, I'll intentionally go in the transition zone so they can aim at my feet and I can work on my
your resets. Yeah, so, I'm with you. Instead of, I know I can get to the line and whatever, but I want to work on dinks,
exactly,
or on resets or
if blocks, if Susie's in front of me, I know I can drive it at her. She's going to pop it up or dump it into the net. But you know what? Let me reset or drop in front of Susie so I could get in and we could engage in like a slow dinking rally.
You
see what I'm saying?
So, I'm with you. That's good.
And there's another little game that I like to play. I actually pulled this from a video I was watching. It's called The Instigator. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's basically where a drill where you have two people in front of each other, like at the kitchen lines. And one person's the instigator. One person is trying to like tease, trying to force their opponent to speed up. So that you can counter the ball. You see, so like you work on different, because a lot of the points, especially at the higher level, they occur, at the kitchen.
Yeah, for sure.
And what you're saying, what you're trying to slow it down. I like that. But your opponents, they're just speeding everything up, right? So you can still keep working on the slow game is what I would suggest. And you're eventually, they're going to have to learn how to play that slow game because you're going to get so good at promoting it that they're not going to be speeding up from below their knees.
They can't, It goes out.
It goes out. Yeah. Exactly. So I like that you're working on that part of the game because that's sort of what I specialize in. And I know, not to mention names, that you're probably like with the likes of Randy, who likes to drive.
Yeah, Randy will drive all day long.
And so, like, it's not to...
I love Randy. A great guy. There's 5 other just like him there. Different strengths and weaknesses. But I know what you're getting at.
I've worked with Randy several times. We work on the slow game. We work on, dropping and coming into the kitchen. But I still see him driving. He drives at everything. And
I can't remember seeing him drop. He probably has, but that's not his. He doesn't enjoy it or not comfortable.
It's because, like, I'll tell you this, because Randy is winning still more than 50% of his games. He's still getting awarded the medals, right? So in his head, why should he change something that's, it's not broken, essentially in his head? Because he's not venturing out. His game would not work on Wheeler Tuesday night.
I see.
They'd eat him up alive. Because, are you serious? Like, if he's going to drive it every time, people are just going to say, and I get it, like, they're probably not going to want to play with Randy because that's not the type of game they want to play. So, continue to work on your game. But I would suggest venturing out and mixing it up with other folks. Because then you do get that feeling of like sort of being stagnant or like stuck in a rut.
You're right. That's probably, so just again, some feedback from you. So my daughter lives in Gilbert, Arizona. And they had a nice indoor, looked like an old Marshalls or something. So it's, like a dozen indoor courts. So what's kind of happened to me, it's a little intimidating. So I go in, and I don't know that everybody's better, but I played a couple games, and not everybody's as friendly as you'd like, you know, and you kind of feel like you're the odd man. You've never been there and whatever. It just, I'm not real excited about doing that again, but of course you're good, but you go to these places, do you feel like you belong there?
That's also a good point. So when in fact, I just got back from Vegas last week, and fortunately, I know a lot of the high level players out there, so I'm able to just get on the challenge court, get on like the 5-0 and up court, and able to play just because we all have an understanding of the game. But fortunately for the park there, you kind of scout. So this is, if you're in a new area, new city, facility, scout like a group that seems to be around your level.
I see.
And just, I would suggest, hey, is it okay if I mix it up with you? But if they don't, if they have, say, their set for some, and they play 4 to 6 p.m. every single, like, we don't want to disrupt that, right?
Yeah, because we run into, even in Upland, right? I don't know, the 4 firemen will come in. You know, they want to hang at their their 4 guys, and you know, it's really not stuff. Anyway, I get your point, right? But it's probably a good idea to kind of check out what's the best, you know. And sometimes the places, I don't know, these are the 3-0, these are the 3-5.
Exactly.
Kind of thing,
and you'll start to gauge. You probably already could tell if a player's a 4-0 versus a 3-0.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So you'll start to tell that. But here's another part, like where, if, for example, if you saw me play with one of my students, and you were just say you didn't know either one of us.
Yeah, just watching from a distance.
And my student, I would call him the smack dab middle of the road 4-0.
Yeah.
And I'm like a 5-5 player. That's about what I play, my skill level. If you watched us rallying and hitting around, you would probably think that my student is a higher level player because he's on his toes, so much more athletic. He's built like you, very thin, very nimble on his feet.
Right.
You would think he's the 5-5 player.
Right.
But you see, where you see the true skill of a player, in my opinion, is the court IQ, one, where they place the balls,
right,
and especially what they do in this transition area. So if I was like evaluating a player, which I do, I look at what they do here in the transition area, and that'll tell me their level.
Okay.
Because at the Upland Arena, even on the Advanced League Thursday nights, because a few of them are my students.
Yeah, right.
Every time in transition here, they're banging, they're driving, they're, you know, but see, that's why they're in that 4-0 to 4-5.
Can't get out.
They can't get out.
Yeah.
So they're contacting me, Neil, where can I get 5-0, 5? Well, you have to sort of like prove yourself. You have to show that you can, you're capable of hitting 5-0.
Earn your way.
Earn your way, yes.
Right.
So that's why me and those guys at the Advanced League, we work here a lot.
Okay.
That's where I'm going to tell you what level you are right now.
Yeah.
So just what I was getting to is me and my student from afar, you probably couldn't tell.
Right.
But it's just minor things like this.
Right.
So what differentiates say a 4-0 to a 5-0
right,
is not necessarily, the 5-0 hits harder, more top spin, they're fast. No,
right,
it's the consistency, it's the accuracy,
right,
not the power.
Right.
Like consistency, placement, power, right?
Right.
Just that's it.
Right.
Another thing I've been saying a lot lately is just prioritizing the place over pace. Place over pace.
Yeah.
You know, so and then that'll eventually lead you to, you know, getting it up to that higher level.
Okay.
So,
well, I mean, you'll find out pretty quick. I mean, I'd like to think I wish I was. My goal last year was to get to 3-5. I don't think I'm there. You know, again, I look the turn that we don't have dupers. You know, what you run into too is the 4-0s want to get in the 3-0 and win, right? Yeah. So a guy like me that's maybe 3-2 or 3, I get my butt kicked or whatever.
Yes.
That's the other reason the tournament without, there wasn't an age thing, right? So guys that are, 25 and I'm 66, right? It's, anyway, I'm not whining, but that's why it wasn't as interesting. But anyway, you'll see. But everything you're saying, I mean, I watch enough. I mean, Annalee Water, right? It's all about, I mean, they're, from what I see, pretty much the transition, almost every time they're trying to get it in the kitchen, right?
Yes.
Until they can get neutral, right?
Exactly.
And that whatever, right? And of course, she's got her big, and guys too, they're big swings, but you see they're dropping, or, a reset, right? Block, I mean, where you said most guys are, trying to whack it. And if you get good, I've gotten better, but most people want it, and they hit it,
Exactly.
It's like, man, I was going to be out, but you can't, say much, right? It's not my place to say,
Exactly.
So
yes.
Anyway,
and that's it. You're absolutely right. So I mean, that kitchen line or the non-volley zone line, that's our home base. Our goal is to get to that line every single point, every single moment we have a chance to get there. That's where we want to get.
Right.
So the thing that kind of stuck with me since the beginning of my pickleball journey was what Jessie Irvin, who's a pro, I don't know.
Yeah, I know her, sure.
It's she had mentioned.
Got the little,
yeah, she's got the buns in her. Yes. The only time to really be offensive is on that non-volley zone line, on that kitchen line.
Okay.
If you're off it
Right.
in transition, you should have more of a defensive mindset. So if you watch, I'll share with you a lot of my videos.
Yeah.
From back here, I like to drop.
Right.
I like to reset. That's how, in my opinion, that's how I earn my spot to that line.
Right.
And like the Thursday nights that are banging and trying to get up there, I don't see that as earning their way up to the line. I see it like you might get away with it one or twice.
Right.
But against a good player,
Right.
they're gonna keep you back here.
Right.
And you're stuck. There's no, it's called no man's land for a reason.
Right.
So let me ask you this. The good thing is you said you're working on your footwork, your positioning and all that. Are you working on like the slinky that we went over? Like the, remember the drops?
Yeah,
into the
7-Eleven.
kitchen? 7-Eleven
right.
and all that? Okay.
So I would say, back to not really having a partner, right? So what I do with the ball machine, right? I'll
Yes.
kind of, what I've tried to do is just right? So the ball machine, serve,
Yes.
reset.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
Okay,
but
good.
Again, I know it's not as good. And Vicky, it's easy because we're together a lot.
Yes.
We were going Sunday morning to Upland or again the backyard. Not that it's her fault. So I haven't been doing as much. I mean, I know about it. I'm familiar with it. I think it's a good training. I'm not doing as much as I should be.
Okay. Okay. Good. Yeah. Just I think
You'd recommend that's what.
Yeah.
There's a million drills, right? Every YouTube's got a new drill, but
exactly. And as you said, like having a partner is probably your best, your best bet. But sometimes that can be a negative because I've seen partners work together when one partner is telling them, "Hey, you should do this, you should do that," but that's not necessarily the right thing.
Right.
It works for your partner, but doesn't necessarily work for you.
Right.
And that's where I come in as a coach. I think we all have different backgrounds, different capabilities on the court. So I like to work with what we've got and see how we can make it better. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Let's do this. Okay. So I like to, it's been a little while.
Yeah.
Let's do our 7-Elevens and see where you're at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds
So
good.
have you hit yet today or
No.
Okay. Let's warm up our dinks, our volleys,
Yeah.
and then our.
By the way, you did, it's old, but it doesn't really matter. You sent a video to Vicky like a year ago. I actually watch it now and then. It was you and, a foursome, you and somebody.
Okay.
And yeah, from that little bit, I've seen your game. It's again, I'd say typical of what, I'd say a pro kind of player in terms of what you guys were trying to do, right?
Yes.
Hey, people miss and all that, right?
Yes, exactly.
So,
yeah,
but yeah, if you've got, another one or two or five or whatever, send them on.
Oh yeah, on my channel actually, I have a YouTube channel.
Oh, do you?
But I don't like to. Let's see. I don't do any instructional stuff. I just post my matches.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to become a job. Like my friends who are creators,
Right.
It's become a job for them to where like pickleball, they don't like being on the court anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want it to.
Yeah,
get to that point.
it's a lot of work, right? Editing.
It is.
And frankly, there's a million guys doing it these days.
There
If
are.
you're trying to make money on it, I think that'd be pretty hard, right?
But since we met though, like my channel, because I post a lot of matches of like a lot of 5-0 and up matches, it got monetized. So I get.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for you.
Thank you.
Let me just check this real quick.
Sure,
make sure.
sure.
Hopefully everything I've run into that before. I didn't hit the right button or something, but.
Test.